Hello there, and welcome to another of Andre's Artist Profiles. Today, I am going to be profiling one of my all-time favorite musicians, and that is none other than William Bootsy Collins. He was born on October 26, 1951, folks. He's 62 today. That's right, Bootsy is 62 years old, and he is still jamming. As a person who had aspirations to be, well, in my case anyway, an upright bass player, Bootsy was extremely inspirational to me as a teenager. Just hearing the sound that he made on bass, rather this electrified, flamboyant sound, almost like a bass guitar hero. He had riffs coming out of him that you wouldn't believe. And that's why he's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, along with all the other members of P-Funk in 1997. And one of the greatest things about Bootsy is that in the summer of 2010, he founded something called Funk University, or Funk U, where he acts as the main professor, teaching online courses on how to play bass. And what other guy could possibly do that? He's from Cincinnati, and he actually has a farm now. But anyway, here's the deal. Bootsy, of course, started out with his brother Catfish, playing in the James Brown Band in 1970-71, around then left with a band called the House Guests. And they got picked up by P-Funk, and the rest is history. Now, P-Funk can be divided into a number of groups. You have Funkadelic, who are definitely more the socio-political adult side of P-Funk. Parliament, who have this kind of comic book narrative, satirical style that appeals to teenagers and young adults. And then you have Bootsy's Rubber Band, who appeal to what Bootsy calls geepies, preteen fans, around 9, 10, 11, 12 approximately, kind of junior grade Parliament in a way. But that's not universally accepted. All these groups can appeal to all of these demographics. P-Funk is not about demographics, but Bootsy definitely is the most cartoonish in terms of focus. But musically, nothing cartoonish about this guy. Now, there's some Bootsy albums that I don't have, and I really regret it. Bootsy albums on CD come in and out of print, and it's a travesty that I never pick them up while they're hot, and they go out of print quickly. So I don't have Bootsy's famous first Rubber Band album, Stretching Out, from 1976. I'm sorry. I don't. I wish I did, but I don't. But I do have this one. When I was first getting into P-Funk, this album was recommended to me as being the Grail. The name is Bootsy, baby. This album, the title track of this album, as one of the most intricate bass lines on synth bass lines on any P-Funk record, with Bootsy playing with it. And of course you have, funk classics like the Pinocchio Theory, and now this is a very strong reminder that Bootsy makes some of the best P-Funk slow jams that were ever made. You get, Vanish in Our Sleep on this album, as well as What's a Telephone Bill. This is actually a Japanese import. I don't know if you can see the writing. Sorry, Vanish in Our Sleep is not on this album. It's Munchies for Your Love. Vanish in Our Sleep is from Stretching Out, which I don't have. So anyway, let me open that up. There's the CD. Anyway. This next album, this is a very intensely funky album. This has Roto-Rooter on it and Bootzilla. This is absolutely bangs the funk right in your face. It's called Bootsy, Player of the Year. You can see Fred Wesley and Maceo on this album. It's part of his Rubber Band. There's Bootsy in the middle. This is released on the Black Music Old School imprint from the late 90s. I think this particular album is still in print. It's from 1978. Okay, now I'm missing This Boot Is Made for Funkin' from 1979. For any of you referencing this, if I ever find that album in the future, I'm going to pick it up. My favorite jam on that album is a song called She Jam, but I don't have that here on CD. But I do have this. A lot of people really give this album a hard time. Ultrawave from 1980, again on Black Music Old School. I love this album. P Encounter is This My Song, Fat Cat, oh my goodness, Soundcrack, which is kind of a little more of a new wave number. This particular album kind of is the end of the, classic Bootsy sound. He's not using the rubber band on that, but he's moving into the sound that he would later have on the Sweatband, which I don't have either. It's on CD. We'll talk about the Sweatband another time. That was a Bootsy pet project on the Uncle Jam label. Whole other story again. There's the Ultra Wave CD. I'm sorry that case is broken. I get a lot of them because these CDs get shuffled around. I had this on vinyl for a long time. It's actually one of my favorite Bootsy albums. The One Giveth. And this particular album starts out with Shinomite, Count Dracula. Oh my goodness. This is one of his most funkified albums from 1982. This has been released domestically since, but this is an import version. Again, the CD case is broken, but that's really the inside more or less. You can see 2 space bases on the cover. I love that cover. The One Giveth, the Court Taketh Away. Body Slam is not on this album, but there was a riff on this that was used on Body Slam. Anyway. The next thing that came out, he took a little time off and came back with this album in 1988 called What's Bootsy Doing? If I remember, this is the first Bootsy album I actually ever had. This was really, set up as being one of his best albums, and I still think it is. Those people who have issues about the 80s and revisionism say, oh, this is a really cheesy album, but Bootsy, cheesy? I don't think so. This album is one of the greatest electro-funk albums ever made in the late 80s, Actually, even better in a lot of ways, and more consistent than George Clinton's albums of this type. This has been reissued, I believe, as an import, but this is an original CD. Got it back in the day on sale at Newbury Comics. Now, this compilation is called Back in the Day, The Best of Bootsy. It's the first real showing I had of the old school Bootsy from the rubber band era. This came out in 1994. And the reason I keep this is because there's some cuts off the Bootsy albums I don't have, of course. Like, obviously, Stretching Out, Jam Fan, Body Slam, and Vanish in Our Sleep and all of that. But the main reason I will always keep this is because it has the song What's So Never the Dance, which was a 1971 single by the House Guests. There's the CD, Bootsy Glasses. Now, that song is a little more skeletal compared to what you know from Bootsy, but anyway, that's why I keep that. This is his latest album from 2011, The Funk Capital of the World. I don't know if you can see this on this video, but it's a holographic cover that moves about. There's the back of it. Samuel L. Jackson is on this. As with a lot of typical newer P-Funk albums, it's full of guests. And that makes it very good, but it would have been even better if it had just focused on Bootsy and not been just a huge, massive guest platform, which I don't mind because Bootsy's influence is felt on so many musicians. I mean, he's the kind of guy written up in bass player magazines, and so they say the funk isn't musically relevant, but it sure is. Anyway, that's what I've got for Bootsy. I do plan to search out the albums by him I don't have, even stuff that's more recent, like Fresh Out of P University, or that one he did in 1994. I can't really recall the name of it. It's a double album. And the Keeping the Funk Alive live set. Plan to pick that up. But that's what I have for Bootsy so far. So, everybody, have a great day. Enjoy this video. And happy birthday, Bootsy. See you next time.